another pioneer to the fold. Our guest here today is a two-time state champion from Simon Kenton High School. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
Hey, my name is Cornett. I wrestled for Simon Kenton from 2014 through 2017, and I wrestled, fun fact, for Dixie Heights my 8th grade year. So did wrestle 5 years of high school, but 4 years at SK.
I got you. And you're added now to the long list of Simon Kenton state champions. I believe, if memory serves me right, Simon Kenton has 27 individual. Now, we already have 1988 state champion, most outstanding wrestler Dave Barnes on the channel, 1987 Jeff Everman, and 2023 state champion Braden Blevins. So I guess your videos will make you number 4 and 5 on the channel. So the guys that we don't, I think I've got 22 videos of the 27 Simon Kenton state champions, and the videos that we're missing, we've either talked to the guys directly or other people associated with them and said they have the video. So in theory, all 27 videos exist, and my goal is to have all 27 on the channel. So you said, you wrestled 5 years of high school, 1 year at Dixie, 1 year at Simon Kenton. I'd have to imagine you started wrestling, middle school, elementary school? How'd that work?
Yeah, so I believe it was 3rd or 4th grade. So it was very early, but I mean, I was watching it before that. So I'd probably say actually started to want to, probably 2nd, 3rd grade, but I don't think I actually formally wrestled a match until I was in 4th grade.
I got you. I understand. And like we said, and all of our newer, I would say from, 2015 forward, 2014 forward, the videos that we've done, I've mentioned something. I may have missed one, so I know a lot of you keep notes and everything I say. I get it. It's cool. But I would say from about the 2014, 2015 era, the majority of the state placers that we have every year started no earlier than middle school. I would have to imagine. I don't have the scientific fact to prove that, the numbers, the evidence in front of me. That's just a guess, because now wrestling across the country, especially in Kentucky, we've got the video evidence to prove it, Your Honor, has just has increased. The quality has increased so much over, a short period of time across the state, not just one little pocket, not just a couple schools. I mean, from Pike County all the way down to Christian Union County, wrestling has just gotten better. From the Cincinnati border all the way down to Wayne County, everywhere in between, wrestling's gotten better. And, kids, wrestlers in middle school, high school, they're having to start at an early age to even make it onto the podium.
Yeah, I definitely can agree. It's, I think wrestling in general is an experience game, having somebody there with you long-term that's been through the experience. For me, it was family, good coaches, but yeah, I can agree 100%. Longer you do it, the more the more you can master it over time. And, you're never going to be the master of it. Right. Nobody is master of wrestling. Everybody loses, but you can master your own game of wrestling and feel better about it. So it definitely is something you feel like you get with more experience, but you don't really start to realize it until you get into like a high school range where it's like you can start to actually quantify how good you are at the sport.
Absolutely. And before we go in to your career at Simon Kenton, you said you wrestled 1 year at Dixie Heights. What weight was that?
I believe it was 152.
52. And did you place that year? I believe that'd be 2013.
I did not. No. So
okay.
I wrestled region. I think I got 5th. I was a state alternate, and the only positive that came out of that season for me individually, there was some positives, but I actually wrestled Kevin Cooper that year for Dixie when he was a senior. I wrestled as an 8th grader for Dixie, and I got teched by Kevin. I was the only person that didn't get pinned that tournament by him. So that felt good. But
I get it.
Wrestled him to a decision, but still, I felt good as an 8th grader. I was like, oh, Kevin's amazing. Like, I feel good about taking him all three, or at least to the end.
Right, I got you. I'll make sure to tag him when I post your video. That way he can see, hey,
Yeah,
this is one guy you didn't pin, right?
rubs it every second he gets. He rubs it in that he got.
I believe that, and of course the Coopers, Simon Kenton. You can't. It's like the Hatfield McCoys. You can't say one without the other. And we've talked to Brad. We've talked to a couple other of the Cooper clan, if you will, and we're going to be doing a session with them. It's just getting everybody together, getting everybody on the same page, and lining it up, because I think of the 27 state champions, I believe the Cooper family accounts for 10 of those, if I'm not mistaken.
Double digits for sure. Yeah. That was actually, he was very helpful for me, Kevin especially, but even the older brothers, very helpful for me throughout my career, just popping into the room, just the little tidbits of knowledge that I got throughout the years. They were always great, and they always beat me up, which you need that every once in a while. So
yeah, absolutely. Now let's start off with your freshman year, 160 pounds, 2014. And I like going through the bracket. Maybe you guys can pick up what I'm doing here. First round, you're wrestling Malik Saunders from Iroquois out of Louisville. You win that by a fall, 2 minutes, 53 seconds. Second round, you're wrestling Avery Buckman out of Union County. You win that by a fall, 2 minutes, 56 seconds. You get to the quarters, you're wrestling Frederick Ageman from Franklin County. You win that by a 7-4 decision. You get to the semis, you're wrestling Cole Overman from Central Hardin. You win that by a 4-2 decision. Now, if you were paying attention there, you just heard me go through first round, second round, quarters, and semis. What does that mean? You were in the state finals as a freshman, 160 pounds. You run into Dominic Lampy from St. Xavier. Dominic was tough. I mean, there's no other way to say it. He gets you in the state finals with a 10-4 decision. No shame, though, coming in second. I'm sure you probably not the outcome you wanted, but again, no shame coming in second place to Dominic as a freshman. I mean, that's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy about it, but I learned from it pretty well. I got to work with Dom for multiple years through ETC and various clubs around the country, Canables, stuff like that. So me and Dom, we became good training partners, but that was the first time I got my hands on him, and I felt what a grown man feels like. So
they really felt each other out. Scoreless the first period. One escaped. Each of them chose down in the second and third period, and then just let it go in that last. Merriman almost had that takedown at the last of the third period, so was able to come back and get that one. So that was great match, exciting.
Great match, Johnny Myman. Congratulations to him. Lucas Mayoza very distraught down there on the floor. Rusty, to come this far to lose in overtime. We've seen it twice tonight, and
I was at this state tournament, and I remember because I believe his brother, was it Justin?
Mm-hmm. Justin was, I think, above or below us. I can't remember.
Right.
But
and I think he got like a first round pin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Justin was very dominant, and Justin too is the same way. It's just man strength. I don't know where it came, but it comes on as you get.
We'll talk about man strength a little bit later. 2015, as a sophomore, you had to bump up from 160 to 182. Was that just to get into the lineup?
So no, that was actually not to get into the lineup. That was me managing two sports, put some weight on, so just kind of filled into the lineup at 82. It worked out for me, my weight, and then it worked out for the team. I mean, I was a little pudgy, I'd say that. So once after sophomore season, I focused on wrestling. I stopped playing football, and that's where I kind of leveled out at 170 for the rest of my career. But yeah, that was all 100% on me. I gained the weight. I got into the weight class, and we had a really good 95 pounder that year on our team, Elijah Miller. So wrestling partner for me, and ended up working out. We had a 70 pounder that was pretty good, and filled the lineup, and 82 was a good weight class for me that I felt comfortable making weight for. So it wasn't the outcome I wanted for that year because I felt like I could do well in that weight class. And I mean, I felt like I did, but there's some barriers that I could have definitely tightened some gaps. That was the year I beat myself up the most. So I can definitely say that.
I understand. And like I said, 2015 as a sophomore, 182 pounds in the second round, you're wrestling Tyler Francrone from Trinity. He beat you with a 5-1 decision, but no shame in losing him either. He was 2014 182-pound state champion. He goes on 2015 182-pound state champion. But you do get you get to the third place match. You win a 6-3 decision over a Northern Kentucky rival, I guess it is, Elijah Matthews from Campbell County. So, like I said, maybe not the decision or the outcome that you wanted, but you still, got to beat a Northern Kentucky foe, if you will, opponent or rival.
Wrestled the final match of a storied high school career the last 3 years. 176-0, 3-time state champion, undefeated this year, 59-0. He's going to go down as one of the top wrestlers in the history of this sport in Kentucky, wouldn't you think?
Oh, definitely. Undefeated through his high school career here. We've had a few matches here lately that have gone score.
Coming into your junior season, your 2017 season, you've been in the state finals once and third place. Coming in, do you know this is my year? You're back down to 170. Do you know this is my year? Nobody's touching me.
And I mean, I don't feel like you ever know 100%. Like, the state is, well, it doesn't feel so big. I mean, it's pretty big state. Like teams like Woodford and Union, like Northern Kentucky teams, we don't see them all year. Right. We might see one tournament, but they're amazing teams. They put them together throughout the whole year. And I can vividly remember, he's a friend of mine, but I mean, Max Androni, we were always roughly around the same weight. Didn't know if he'd be in my weight class that year. Another good example was, rest in peace, Max Emerson. He was
absolutely.
I worried about every year. He was really, really good, and he got me in practice a lot, and people can attest to that. So I was always worried about wrestling really, really good guys in the state. I don't ever felt like I went into a tournament knowing that, like, hey, I'm going to dominate all these guys. I was just say, hey, I'm going to score points and then try to impose my will on them as in a wrestling tournament. I mean, because this is a challenge of wrestling. It's not a challenge of how confident I am in myself. Like, so I would go out there with that mentality. I could be as confident as I want, but if I don't perform, it's 100% on me. So just taking each match at a time, that was kind of my mentality. I think slowing it down and doing that is what really helped me kind of come into my own my junior and senior year, instead of worrying about being the best and every time, just worry about performing well each wrestling match.
No, that's a really great piece of advice. And one of the intangibles that I did not see, positive intangibles I did not see when we started the series, was you're not always going to be able to have somebody like Casey Cornett every single day come to a seminar for you. You're not always going to be able to have somebody like a Jeff Everman, a Dave Barnes. You're not always going to have a state champion that you can learn from in a practical sense. But now having this video, hearing their thoughts, so like the way they approach the season, the way they approach the match, stuff like that, the insight that you get from the guys that come before you. I'm talking to the people that are currently wrestling, whether it's high school, middle school, whatever age you are. Listen to what they have to say, because I guarantee you they will have a piece of advice that you can say, you know what? That Casey Cornett knows what he's talking about. That makes such a great point, is if I just go out and do my best, if I perform like I know I can, then there's a very good possibility I know I'm going to win this match. Now, we'll get to the next match when the next match comes, but for right now, let's perform our best in this match, right?
Exactly. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's definitely something that you kind of come into your own as you get older. You start to realize that, like, the people that have been there before, like, I'm not saying I know the answer to everything, and I'm not saying either that four-timers, like, five-timer like Brock, like, people, Brock Irvin's the best of the best. I'm not saying they know everything, but when they open their mouth, it's probably a good idea to at least give them 1 year, maybe two. So.
No, that's excellent point. Now, 2016, you're a junior, 170 pounds, and I found this number astonishing. It says your final record for the year was 64-2. So you had 66 matches that year. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, that was a very long season, I will say, because I came off the wrestling season, or I came off of sophomore season, and I took off for football. So I wrestled all summer too. Mm-hmm. So I did tournaments all summer long. I went to, I went to Fargo that summer because it was the summer before my junior year. I went to NHSCA's, Flow Nationals, Super 32. Like, I went to every tournament I could in the off season, and then did that during season. So it was definitely a very long year. I remember that.
And if I'm not mistaken, was it at Fargo you become an All-American or Super 32? One of those two, correct? Am I right about that?
So I did an All-American at Fargo.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first and last ever freestyle and Greco tournament. I didn't do Greco, actually, so only freestyle tournament I ever did nationally. And I got to blood round, or round of 12. I can't remember. I mean, I won a couple matches, but I didn't do that well. I will say that. Super 32, very similar blood round, I think. I don't think I All-Americaned. My national placements were at Flow and NHSCA. So,
okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of is because I know I forget who it was. We were at doing an in-person session, and you got brought up about because the Rainey brothers had just won their they just won it. And they were people were talking about the Kentucky All-Americans from.
I think Brandon Reed did.
Okay,
but I ever did. I think Ryan might have too. Ryan Moore. Yeah. There's a couple of guys I remember kind of coming up with that did, but I did not. That was not. I will say folk style was definitely the one I was very good at. Freestyle and Greco, I was. I loved it, but folk style was my best one.
And if you're new to the sport, high school wrestling is considered the style that we have in high school and college. It's called folk style. Different rules in freestyle, different rules in Greco. We're not going to go into it here. That goes beyond the scope of the video, but just the three different styles. And I mean, they're three completely different disciplines. They truly are. They truly are. But like we said, 64-2. That's a lot of matches, 66 matches in the season. That's a lot. But you start off your 2016 state tournament with a fall over Isaac Johns of LaRue County, 30 seconds. So you're not playing games, man. You're here to win it, right? You start off, you go to the second round, you get a fall over Colin Coy of Harrison County, 1 minute and 55 seconds. You get a major decision over Michael Eldridge from Woodford County, 9-0 in the quarters. You get to the semis. You're wrestling Raymond Williams from North Hardin. You win that by a fall, 1 minute, 22 seconds. So you're back in the finals. You're wrestling Christopher Morrow from Madison Central. Now, we're not going to tell you the score. We have the match video. But, your freshman year maybe didn't turn out the way that you wanted it, but that experience you gained of all eyes on, as Tupac would say, all eyes on me, right? The eyes of the state on you, on the main mat, and probably the best collection of talent that the state's ever seen put together. 2014 state finals is by far the best collection of talent that Kentucky's ever produced. Nathan Boston, ranked number 1 in the country. Austin Myers, Brock, some guy named David Carr. I think his wrestling career turned out all right for himself. I mean, we could go on and, we could go on and on and on and on with the names. Rest in peace to Bryce Schaefer. I mean, the heavyweight from Dixie Heights, Brandon Johnson. I mean, in my opinion, one of the best heavyweights Kentucky's ever seen. Just his domination through both of his years. But you're in the finals as a junior.
I got stories about him coming from Dixie and Turkey Foot growing up with Brandon. So
I believe you. That dude. We'll talk when we get off the video here, but I want to get up with Brandon. Maybe you can hook me up with him.
yeah, I could try my best. I'm not sure, but I'll do everything I can.
Okay, yeah, man. Like I said, I'd love to have him because he's, like I said, I'd love to get his videos on. So, like I said, you're wrestling Christopher Morrow, Madison Central. I think this could be the battle of I-75, Kenton County and Madison County. Runs right through there. Had you wrestled Chris earlier in the year?
I had, yeah.
Okay.
I was actually, I think, my closest match in state earlier in the year. We wrestled at somewhere down in southern Kentucky. Every time we went down there, I always confused it if it was eastern or western.
Yeah. I got you.
But to a close decision, I remember wrestling him in the beginning of the year, and it was actually kind of like an eye opener because, like, I think at the beginning of the year, I kind of had that notion, like, okay, like, I didn't see anybody on here I recognize. Like, this will be an easy tournament, or it won't be that tough of a tournament. So, he was definitely he was a good wrestler. I think he ended up wrestling one, I'm pretty sure, at Cleveland State or something like that. Like as we got on, like, throughout our careers, but he was very good. Like, I liked wrestling against Chris. He had good fundamentals and he was hard to score on, very strong. So yeah. I remember that.
All right. Well, we have discussed it enough. Let's go ahead and pull up the video. Now, I'm not sure who shot this. This is from the stands, who filmed it, I should say. Have you watched your 2016 match? Has it been a while?
It's been a while, yeah. But that honestly does look like my stepdad's video. So my stepdad might have been the one that filmed us.
Well, all right. So we're going to go ahead and get rolling, man. Here we go. I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit. That way it doesn't override us.
Oh, you're all right.
So you're putting your ankle band on for the second time in the finals, kind of hopping around. Are the nerves still the same? Are you got the jitters? I mean, like you did as a freshman?
I mean, that's good. That's a year. I think nerves don't come from. I don't think they come from the person, like the other person on the other side of the ankle bands. I think they come from the situation and the expectations that you have on yourself and stuff. So if you can learn to handle those things, I think it's a lot more important than who's across from you.
I got you. And looks like you've got a good friend of the channel, Eric Friddle, as your referee. Now here you are trying to work, trying to get some points there. You get a takedown. And he's doing the quad pod, as it's known. On top, Casey, what was your what were you looking to do on top here?
At this point in my career, it started rolling the, wrist, place it on the back hip, and just go for a power half. I think I had like a streak throughout this year. It's my junior year, where I had pinned a number of kids with the same move. So I was definitely very big on rolling wrists, putting a lot of pressure on shoulder joints, trying to keep their hips from getting underneath them.
Yeah.
Just keeping a lot of weight on hands. I learned that a lot more in college. That was a very, very big deal when it came to riding time. But in high school, like an innate thing that I had where it was just keep a lot of weight on their hands, and it's very hard for them to get up. So that was a big thing that I tried on top. I wasn't a huge tilt guy. I'm not very long. So I would do a lot of moves that didn't require me to put legs and stuff like that. Stuff to put a lot of pressure on your upper body.
And you get another takedown there, pretty slick takedown. So you're leading 4-1. He's trying there for a switch. He gets his escape, so we're at 4-2. And that was a quick first period.
Yeah, definitely feels like.
And you take down. We looking to do a straight stand up? We looking to switch? What we looking to do here?
Yeah, it's stand up. I usually don't get too fancy with it, but you know, sometimes you have to throw a Granby roll or a switch in there, but for the most part, just get back to your feet. I feel comfortable in my feet. You know, I didn't feel like I was going to get taken down, so that was where I kind of would just be on my feet there. Looks like that happened, and yeah, pretty
So,
quick. Nothing.
yep. So what would that be? You got your escapes, that puts you at 5. So it's what, 7?
Yeah, 7-2, I think, at this point.
7-2, I believe, something to that effect. 7-1.
Yeah, I do. This is where I kind of the culmination of me learning that my single leg actually does work.
Yeah.
For the long time, I was known for and also just really relied on a high crotch. And this match and then going into my senior year was where I kind of learned to use my single leg and my high crotch together. Because Chris was so hard to get underneath. If I tried to shoot on him, I was not going to win that. So shooting a single off balance was a lot.
You know, you got to do what works for you. If you know you're nice lift and return right there.
Yeah.
And like we said in other videos, you're in the state finals as a junior. You know what you're good at. You know what you're not good at. You know what your bread and butter. You know what not to try. So, you know, do what got you to the dance, right?
Yeah. I had a lot of time that's working on other types of takedowns. This one felt good.
If you know whose mat this is as you're watching, guys, if you know whose mat this is, put it in the comments because I'm not sure if I recognize where this mat belongs to. It might be a club team that I don't know about or something like that, or a middle school team, but I can't place any high school teams that's purple and white with an M or a W. All right, so that's the end of the second period.
Yep.
You got a pretty good lead. It's his choice. And I was surprised he took neutral.
No, I think I.
Oh, did he took down and you gave him his one?
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
That's what I was gonna say because when I was cutting this down to get it ready, I was like, man, why in the world would he take neutral after he's been taken down so many times already?
Yeah. I think I caught him because I believe that we were trying to get a major. I can't remember if I got it, but I believe we were trying to get a major on that.
Let's see. When it's over with, I'll give you the score. I've got it, you know, in my notes. I don't want to ruin it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I couldn't remember, but
keep the viewing audience in suspense. Now, you know you're leading in the third period of the state finals. You are working on top, but you're not like trying to put yourself in danger by doing crazy stuff. And there's no point in it. As long as you're trying to work on top, work some offense, you know, why put yourself in a risk where you could get rolled, get caught in something? And you can hear the crowd, let's go Casey, I believe. I think Eric hit you for a star right there. And you look at him and you cut him. So we're back neutral again. There it is, no takedown. You cut him again.
Again, round.
There's no takedown.
15 seconds.
You can hear the Simon Kenton crowd yelling, Casey, Casey, Casey.
5.
And there you are, man. 2016 state champion. You win by a final score, 13-5.
Yeah, we were the major out there. I couldn't remember.
Not much on the hand raise you wanted to get out of there. I don't blame you. And
Simon Kenton's Casey Cornett secured the state championship in the 170-pound division with a 13-5 victory over Madison Central's Christopher Merrow.
watching it back, does it play out, besides you winning, of course, does it play out the way you remember it?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I remember, my opponent being, he was stingy. He didn't give up points. He didn't score a lot of points, but he didn't give up points either. So, those are always the toughest guys to wrestle. I feel like ones that they're not pursuing scores, but you're also not able to get much on him. So he was a great wrestler. I felt good about that one, and I knew that I had much more wrestling to do that year. I think we focused back then a lot more on the national side of things than we did at the state level. So while it was an amazing accomplishment, my first one, it was like, I had a month or two and I was back at KHSAAs and flow and stuff. So it was definitely a bigger focus right after that, but celebrate for the night or two. It was definitely very much take the time.
Yeah. And, we've said in, a lot of videos now, the national tournaments, it seems like in the summer, even spring and fall, there's a whole lot of wrestling tournaments across the country that youngsters, high school age, middle school age kids can go to and compete in every weekend if they choose. But there's something though special about a school sponsored high school state championship. I mean, there's just something, the community gets behind it. The student body, you get to see your classmates. Everybody knows. Of course, you were in the era of social media. Everybody knows that you're coming in as a state champion. So there's something cool, a lot to be said about that school-sponsored state championship.
Yeah, definitely. And I always liked school events. I thought they were. I thought it was really cool for like my peers and stuff to get to see like, this is really hard. Like watch all 13 of these guys, however many weight classes it was at the time, watch these guys go out there and, half of them had a bloody nose at the end of it. And, it's a brutal sport, and some people don't like to watch it. Some people really like to watch it. And it's fun to weed through those people that, you had as friends that have never seen it before. That's a fun aspect. And then just seeing the support too, like the people that, maybe they don't watch wrestling, but they just support you because they know you and they've been around you. Yeah. That's very fun too. So I always loved school sponsored events, especially state, because it was just like basically anybody and everybody that was involved with SK wrestling tried to at least show up for a day. So that was where we got to see everybody. And especially if we had people in the state finals, which I'm pretty sure all 4 years that I was there, we had at least one person in the state finals. Mm-hmm. So that was actually really nice, because that brought out a lot of the SK alumni too as well. You get some of the Cooper family that come down, and you get Joey Parrott that comes now. No, he's coaching at Trinity. So it's like, it's very fun to see that, especially with the history the SK's wrestling program had with me coming into it. Not even what I did for it, but with me coming in, they already had a rich history of wrestling. So,
and now with the review series, it's fun to sit back and kind of fantasy book. Could this guy from 1980 whatever beat this guy from 2004? Or you finally get to put mat time with the names that you've seen forever, or you've been around the program, and not just Simon Kenton, but across the entire state. Like some of the 170s that comes to mind, two-time state champion JJ Jude from Johnson Central, three-time state champion Tendai Cherisika from St. Xavier. One of my favorite matches to watch, George King, most outstanding wrestler, quickest pin, most pins in the least amount of time from Union County, 2,000, 171 pounds. I mean, just some cool fantasy booking. I'll leave it at that. But you are a junior in 2016. You also win it in 2017. So guys, be sure to check out Casey's 2017 video. We're going to end this one here, and we'll see you in 2017.